Hey guys, it's time on Deep Junk. It's time for the Deep Junk Garage Race Car Challenge, and I have chosen the Hot Wheels 41 Willys, 41 Willys Americar. I believe they called them Americar in 41 and 42. Willys had their little cheap car, and by 1940 it started to look like a 1940 Ford. The silhouette of it, the hood, the fenders, but it was a popular little cheaper car, and very popular on the drag strips. It was a light car, and very popular to be reproduced in fiberglass. I would love to get a hold of one of these cars. I'd be one of the morons who would drive a blown Willys on the street. So we are going to get this one apart and get after it and see what we can do. Hold on, guys. Alright, so our Willys, there's most of them. I can see some casting lines a little bit here and there, but it doesn't look too bad, and we know how that goes. So we will see what it looks like after the stripper. This car was new. I just had gotten it out of the package and had it up here on the table in the last month or so. So it's no problems glass wise or anything like that. Got our chrome piece. That's a shame because I've got that roll bar in there now, and that's all one piece. It's kind of goofy. Nothing, no engine detail, just a blower hat there. I was kind of impressed with the base on this. It's got 400 automatic transmission pan, some good oil pan detail, dual exhaust all the way back. So, not a total loss. I'll get her in the stripper. Right in the sauce there. Ooh boy. And make sure that gets in there all the way. Alright. Alrighty guys, Willys is out of stripper, and I've already mocked up some M2 wheels on the front. And taking a look at the body, we've got some casting marks over the nose here, over the front fenders, at the hood. It's all pretty light. There's some around the back side, over the right here in the fenders on each side. Just a little where the castings gathered there. They'll clean that up and give it a fender line, clean up that front. Like I said, I've already got some M2s mocked up on the front, and then we'll go ahead and get them on the back, see what they look like. Alright guys, on our chassis on our Willys, we were putting the M2 wheels on. I needed a spacer because the wheels, when they went on, where I got them to sit where they look good just inside the fenders, I had to space them out off the chassis a little bit. So the hub on the M2 wheel is a little narrow, so I needed something to space out between the wheel and the inside of the chassis. And I didn't have any tubing. I really didn't want to run out to the stores again. I didn't have anything here. The tubing that I've got is small, so in deep junk fashion, in what rhymes with deep junk but cheap junk, I made my own. And if you see these things here, these are well, if you have model cars, 25th scale models, they are usually have the part that's on the trees, and then sometimes a little extra piece that hangs off the part. And that's what these are. These things that come off of a Polar Lights model. I can't remember. It was an old parts tree that I had some extra parts on, and I saw the pieces. So you can see, like on this one, I had done a pilot hole in it. So I took them and drilled the pilot hole with the pin vise, and then used a 1/16 drill bit and just hand did the rest of the hole all the way through, and then cut them to size. Now I'm just sanding them a little bit to get them exactly the size that I need in there, so we can get our wheels mounted up and paint them black, and you'll never even know they're there. Sweet! Alrighty, putting on a little body work on the Willys. You can see back here in the deck lid, I've run across the deck all the way off and onto the quarter panel sections here between the fender and the deck lid. There was a kind of a lip there. The deck lid was actually higher than the rest of the car, so I run a file crisscross back over the edges and then through the center of the trunk to give it better shape, and so it wouldn't have such a high center. Now it's even up with the rest of the car in the back side. Same thing over the windows. The roof I do just to flatten them out. I will crisscross like that to get it to flatten out. Up in the front, the body lines are starting to lose them, getting the hood smoothed. Hey guys, back on this Willys chassis. Seen earlier where I made the spacers for the front axle, and they're in there now. For the back, you know, you have a problem, you need something done, you ask 5 guys, you get 5 different answers. Well, like I said, I did not have any tubing with an inside diameter big enough to go to hold the M2 axles. I've got the small stuff for regular, like Hot Wheels axle. So without putting a axle tube in the back of the car, I am running the axles. You can see on the front, they're run through this the factory little clamps that hold the factory axles in. I've kept, let's see if we can put some light on this. There it is. I've kept that one in the back, but it did make the wheels want to kind of rock back and forth in the chassis. I simply took a little styrene, cut off 2 tabs, and with the axle in place in the car, glued them up in to hold the edges of the axle down. So it'll just run right through the center there of the place where the factory axle was held in, them little clips there, and the plastic pieces on the outside. A little bit of styrene will keep it from you know, wiggling back and forth, up and down in there. Alright, you got the Willys body is finally done with body work. I mean, I could keep going on this thing forever. There's got to be a stopping point, so I've cleaned it up real good, and we'll shoot it with some primer and see if there's anything that I missed that's real big, and if not, we'll wet sand it down and get it ready for paint. Alright guys, getting back here on the Willys. I'm going to show you what we've got done here on the chassis. I went ahead and run a drive shaft up in here, drilled with the pin vise up into the tail shaft of the transmission and back here at the differential. It is an angle, it's not straight through, so I had to slot out the bottom of the car. When I did that, I went ahead and put a floor in it. Because I'm not using the interior in this car, I'm going to I made a floor inside. I had cut the dashboard out with the bug catcher, and I'm just going to use this piece up through the hood still. It will sit down where the axles are, and that gives us our dashboard, which I haven't detailed yet. It's body color, so it's going to go in like this. Then we'll have the floor in place. I've got a seat that's funny car style cage will go in there, and then the roll bar assembly up on top like that. Alrighty, so we've got on our chassis there, we've got our oil engine, engine oil pan. It's just blacked out. Most of my race cars, that's what I would do with any of the tin work, is just go all black instead of Chevy engine orange. We've got our transmission done in the flat aluminum, the transmission pan in the chrome pen, again the exhaust in flat aluminum. The mufflers I did in the chrome pen, give it a look like a polished stainless muffler. Our added drive shaft tips are done in the chrome pen, and then the rear diff has been blacked out. Alright guys, our 41 Willys is finished, and I gotta say that I'm really pleased with this car. No stripes, no flames, no racing decals. It's just classy. The color is not what I had in mind at first, but it's perfect. I feel I wouldn't change a thing. The bodywork, it looks great. Tons of sanding, smoothing and rounding, you know, angles going different directions at one time. It's a hard car to make look right, but when it looks right, it's definitely worth it. We've got our funny car roll cage inside. We made that floor, kept our dash from the other interior tub. The windows mounted in it. The M2 wheels, got those faced out right in the front. Good stance on the car. I think it just looks killer. The bug catcher, our headlights and grille detail up front, and all that body work over the fenders. Same thing up the other side. Their door handle detail, just enough, no, you know, like I said, stripes and flames and stuff like that. Ugh, why? It would just ruin the car. Underneath, our automatic transmission, a little oil pan detail in the exhaust. Some taillight detail. The tailpipes run to the back. I like it. It says, you know, badass without being in your face with flames and crap like that. Had a real good time building this one. And sometimes I think, you know, in the middle of all this sanding, it's like, well, is it ever going to end? What's going to happen? But I've come to really enjoy it, and I know that if you keep at it, you know, watch what you're doing, it's going to turn out good, and then you'll be really happy at the end. Guys, I want to thank everyone for coming out for this race car challenge. I apologize because I did not promote it like I probably should have, and I'm just happy that there were so many guys that took place and they had a good time. I hope everybody watching, you know, enjoys the cars and maybe find some new channels to watch. Check out these guys; they're all artists. This car, I don't get attached to them. It'll be for sale up on eBay. 17 Stacy, my wife's seller name. Again, thanks everyone for joining in. And I wish everyone to be safe, and God bless you.